I'm Lindsay Jordan, and I'm the founder and CEO of Write On Fundraising. We provide fresh fundraising solutions for high-impact nonprofits through grant writing, annual funds, and capital campaign design. So I didn't actually know, like most fundraising professionals, that nonprofit was a career choice or that fundraising was something that you could do and make a living for your family. So I didn't set out to become a nonprofit fundraiser. Really what drove me to helping people were my experiences growing up. One of the things that I've learned as a professional fundraiser is that there are certain motivators that bring people to the table, and one of the big ones for me is a repayer mentality. And what I mean by that is when I was growing up, my little brother John had cancer, and so we spent a ton of time, all my high school years, driving up and down the turnpike from Poto, Oklahoma to Memphis, Tennessee, so that he could get treatment for cancer. And he's thriving today, he's doing wonderful. But the people I met along the way changed my life and changed my perception of what it means to go through a medical crisis. And I don't know what a greater sense of justice looks like. So for example, when I was at St. Jude a couple years later with my first husband, we were pretty far away from either of our families, right? So my family was 6 hours away on one side, his was 6 hours away on the other side. We were isolated. We were 19, 20 years old, and we were battling really advanced non-Hodgkin's large cell lymphoma. It was a grind every single day for him to just show up and do the treatments and to want to put in the effort that it takes to fight for your life, which most people don't think about. And every day when we showed up, we would come into contact with these families that were living the exact same experience and going through all of the same barriers that we were facing. And one of the families we met was this woman who had 2 young boys. They were about 10 and 7. And unknowingly, she had passed on to them a gene that caused a life-threatening blood disorder, and it was terminal. It was a terminal disease, and we were around the boys a lot. We spent holidays together, and at one point when Jason, my former husband's therapy, had him basically unconscious and up on a floor for about a month, I was camped out. I was living out of a hospital room and living the hospital life, and one of the boys, whose name was Josh, was stationed across the hall from us. He was going through really similar treatment. One night, I was, passed out asleep on one of those super comfortable hospital beds. All of a sudden, I am woken by sirens, just like the most piercing sirens that you can possibly imagine, like the kind that throws you involuntarily out of bed. I scramble around, I'm looking to make sure everything is okay in our room, and it is, and then I realize that the lights are coming on from outside of our bedroom, so I rush over to the window, and everything in this particular hospital is pretty much glass. You can see into everything, and I can see into Josh's room. He's all tangled up in his sheets, and there's no one there with him. There's all these lights going off on the ceilings and all this noise, and I'm looking around, waiting for doctors and nurses, and nobody's coming. It seems like it takes forever for someone to finally show up. It was probably only a couple seconds, but it felt like an eternity. I see them check on Josh and realize that he has passed away alone at the age of 7 years old in his room. And for me, it was an earth-shattering realization of what injustice really looks like and what it means to fight for your life, whether you make the choice to fight for it or if someone else is making it for you. And I knew at that moment that at like 20 years of age, that it didn't matter what I did for the rest of my life. I was gonna make sure that Josh's struggle and the struggles of people who know what it's like to live through something hard, that those things matter and that they're not for nothing, and that people show up every day to support whatever journey it is that folks have to get through. And that's what brought me to nonprofit fundraising. I know that's a really super long answer. It wasn't a special event, it wasn't a party, it wasn't fun. It was this idea that whatever I could do to make an impact for those who were hurting, that's what I was gonna do. And for me, that happens through fundraising.